I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on practice for SAT Level 2. We'll take a few multiple choice questions to practice in this particular video. Let's begin with exponential rules. The question here is find x. 1 over 25 to the power of x times 1 over 8 to the power of 16 equals to 1 over 4 times 10 to the power of 46. Four choices are given to you. You can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. So I hope you recall that 25 can be written as 5 square, right? And 10 can be written as product of 2 and 5. That should help you to solve this particular question. Now let's see how. So we have here 1 over 25 to the power of x times 1 over 8 to the power of 16. Now what can we do about 8? Well, 8 can be written as 2 to the power of 3, right? Now all this is equal to 1 over 4 times 10 to the power of 46. So writing in these prime numbers powers, that is kind of important to understand. We get here 1 over 5 square, right, to the power of x times 1 over 2 cube to the power of 16 equals to 1 over. Now 4 can be written as 2 square and 10 will write as 2 times 5 to the power of 46. So we get 1 over 5 to the power of 2x. So power rule, right? So in exponents, when it's power of power, they get multiplied. So here we get 1 over 2 to the power of 3 times 16, which is 48, equals to. Here what do we get? He get 1 over 2 to the power of 2, and this 46, let me write it in two steps, 2 to the power of 46 and 5 to the power of 46. Now the right side itself, we can actually combine these two terms, right, using the exponential rules. So they get added up. So we get 2 to the power of 48, and here we have 5 to the power of 46. Now if you compare clearly on the left side and the right side, we do have 1 over 2 to the power of 48. This factor is already there. The one remaining is 5 to the power of 2x and 5 to the power of 46. So that means that 2x should be equal to 46, right? Or x should be equal to 46 divided by 2, and so we get x equals to 23. So the option A is the right option. Correct? So I've taken my time to explain the steps. Now when you get this question in the test paper, you really won't get more than 2 minutes to solve this question. So you should practice these kinds of questions and get ready with some working with exponential rules. The next question which I have taken is from basic arithmetic. It says, right triangle with area of 24 units square has the sides A, B, and C, where if A equals to B plus 2 and C is greater than A. Okay, so that means C is the longest side. Perfect. So what we are given here is a right triangle. Normally a sketch will also be given to you, right? So in the test paper like this. So we have a right triangle. The area of this right triangle is given to us as 24. And the sides are A, B, and C. So we have these sides A, B, and C. C is the longest side, so that is the hypotenuse for us. We are also given that A equals to B plus 2, right? And we are given the area is 24. Then the possible value of B is what? Well, clearly from the given right triangle, we know area is half base into height, correct? So area is 24. So 24 is equal to half of base is A and height is B for us. Right? We want to find possible value of B. We also know that A is B plus 2. So we'll cross multiply. So we get 48 equals to A times B, we can also write this as a is b plus 2. So instead of a, I'm writing b plus 2, right? Times b. So we have equation, so this is 48. Okay, so we have equation in one variable, and that is b. It can always be solved. But now in the multiple choice test question, you need to save time. You should look into what are the factors of 48, correct? So 48, you know, is 8 times 6 is 48, correct? We know 24 times 2 is also 48, but that doesn't fit into this part, correct? We are looking for product of two numbers where the difference is of 2, right? So 8 and 6 are those numbers, right? So this becomes 8 and that becomes 6 for us. We want to find the possible value of b, right? So b is 6 for us, clear? So we get 6 as our answer, right? Possible value of b we want. So we get b, which is the smallest number amongst these three, as 6. Perfect. Now you could have been asked C also. This is a very interesting triangle. So what we have here is 8, 6, and you know what this is. So you should know your triples also, right? So this is like 3, 4, and 5. So that should be equal to 10, correct? So you should be ready with these right triangles. Some way or the other, they will be in your test paper. So I hope that gives you a fairly good idea about solving similar questions, right? At times, this could be a part of a bigger diagram, right? So we could make some other figure, but this will be a triangle of interest, right? So that is the whole idea. Let's take the next question, which is very tricky. Now, the question here is, given n is a positive integer not divisible by 2 or 3, and r is the remainder when n minus 1 times n plus 2 is divided by 24. What can be possible value of r? Right? So have a look at it, read it once again. We are given that n belongs to integers, right? We also know that n is greater than, is a positive integer, is greater than 0. And we also know that n is not equal to 2 times, let's say, m, or n is not equal to 3 times m, right? So it is not a multiple of 2 or 3. It could be any other number, right? So n cannot be 2, 3, 4, but n can be 5, for example. Well, so what can we do about this? Well, one way is just substitute some values of n. So we just figured out that n could be 5. Now, the question says r is the remainder when n minus 1 times n plus 2 is divided by 24. So basically, we have n minus 1 times n plus 1, and we are dividing this by 24. Now, when we divide, we are actually interested in remainder. What remains, right? So what is the remainder equal? So this is what we need to figure out. Now, if I write 5 here, well, some of you can also write this as difference of square, right? So you could write n square minus 1. So remainder, we have to figure out. So if you substitute 5 here, what do we get? Well, 5 minus 1 is 4, and that is 5 plus 1, 6, 24 over 4, 24, remainder is 0, right? So basically, anyway, I'll prefer to write this again as n square minus 1, and we are going to divide this by 24 and then check the remainder. So I'm rewriting this. Is that clear to you? N minus 1 times n plus 1 is n square minus 1, correct? So we'll divide by 24 and check what the remainder is. So, well, if I do 5 for n equals to 25, n square is 25, so this is 24 divided by 24. It is even, right? So remainder is 0, correct? Well, let's try another value of n. So if I take n, I cannot take 6 since 6 is a multiple of 2 and 3, but we can try 7, correct? So we get here 7 square minus 1, and we are going to divide this by 24. Now in this case, 49 and 1 is 48. So basically this is 48 divided by 24. Remainder in this again is 0, right? Since 48 is 2 times 24, right? Well, let's try some other number. We cannot try 8, 9, 10, but we can try 11, right? So 11. So if I write 11, we get 11 square minus 1 divided by 24. Now 11 square is 121, and take away 1, I should write this in brackets, so it is 120 divided by 24. Now 120 again is a multiple of, so it goes 5 times, right? So it goes 5 times, remainder again is equal to 0, correct? We know 24 times 5 is 120, so the remainder is 0. So what you get here basically is that if both these conditions are true, right, so we can conclude that the remainder is 0. So what we get here is that remainder r is equal to 0 for both conditions being true. Correct. So, this question also can be asked in many different ways. You may try to understand the strategy, why it is so, right? So, the idea here is just try out some values rather than thinking big, right? So, and you at least have one value of r, which is 0, right? The question says, what can be possible values of r, right? So, at least you know one, that is sufficient for such a question in the test. So I hope this set of questions help you a bit. Feel free to write a comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. So we did one which called for some working, trying with numbers, then we worked with exponents, and we also worked with a bit of arithmetic. So I hope that helps. Feel free to write a comment, share your views, share my videos with your friends. Thanks for your time, and all the best.